Whoa! Hi, everybody. Hi. Do I even have some water with me? It's right over there. I'll get that in a minute. Um, welcome. Hi, Christine of Love Evolve Energy. Sometimes I'm called Bean. Sometimes I'm called Blossom. Sometimes my tech works. Sometimes it does not. We'll just see what happens today. And you have found me, hopefully on YouTube. Hopefully on Facebook. We will see what happens. So this is my day 9 of 108 days of meditation and creative flow, accountability, video, vlog check-in. So if that interests you, stick around because I'll chat just a tiny bit today and see what's going on. And we have done 9 days straight. Yesterday was a little rocky, but maybe I'll chat about that today. So let me get you going here, and I'll catch you back in about 60 seconds. In that 60-second time period, I made sure some of my tech was working. Not all of it is, by the way. And I made sure that I had some H2O. So, are there insights to be gleaned? Is there something that I can share that is of value other than my authenticity and vulnerability and what it is? We shall see. I'll just chat for a little bit because I'm in the East Coast and we're heading into the noon hour. So yay, this works today. My mic works today. I've been having little panties in a bunch, hissy fits about this piece of tech. Now my hissy fit. Well, it wasn't a hissy fit today because I've just thrown up my hands. I had another one the other day about logging into this painting course that I'm taking. I'm not teaching it this time. I'm taking it to soon teach it. Painting, creative expression, and spirituality. Anyway, back to what we're talking about today is sitting practice. On Friday, interestingly, I sit with a regular Sangha that I do not lead. A dear comrade in spiritual arms I work with holds a regular Monday through Friday meditation sit for a group of people. Everybody's invited, no experience necessary, although many people are very, very quite experienced, me being one of them. And that's what we do. We practice within a framework of techniques received from the very broad Buddhist tradition. So I ended up on Friday leading the session. He is a psychologist and just about to get his licensing in California. And so he had a test for that on Friday, and so I stepped in and did the thing for him. So anyway, as you can see, I'm using a different camera today. Usually I have my other camera, and I look at slightly more glamorous, but pretty much about the same. I look pretty much the same. Uh, uh, so hopefully that piece of tech will get online. I'll need that piece of tech for other things, is the thing. So interestingly, this is how I approached practice today. Had an interesting night. Yesterday was a little rocky. I did sit, but not a full hour. So you know what that means. Oh, Mama Lisa, hi, lady. Dragon Mama. And just, doing my check-in, my 9-day check-in. Hopefully you and I are chatting later. Squirrel, and just got distracted by connection, which is one of my weaknesses in a way that others before me, maybe not a bad way to be if you have a In fact, a really good way to be if you have a strong sense of self and strong boundaries already in place. So I've been working on both of those things for quite a while. So what was I saying? So I led on Friday. It wasn't easy. Friday's one of my favorite days there where we don't really work on a specific technique, although he is layering a slight suggestion of vipassana, clear seeing. Uh, that's a whole other thing I won't unpack here. Onto the Fridays, anything can goes day in terms of meditation practice. So on the heels of that, I had Saturday, which means I sat extra. I sat almost 2 hours on Friday. Saturday, I decided not to sit in the morning. I decided other things needed to happen. And wouldn't you know it, I had a little hissy fit about some tech stuff. My intention was to take yesterday off because I've been going hard. I've been going hard all week with, in the realm of relaxed, hard, and peacefulness, but it's been very chock-a-block full, which I don't mind, especially when it's full of amazeballs things. And just needed a break. I needed to not be so busy, and so attempted to do that, which meant that my sit was later in the day. That doesn't work for me. It does if it's just an easy, not too much. The most I can do is about 35, 40 minutes, which is what I did. Uh, I got a little message from a friend of mine uh, on the book that is Face. So that's what that looked like. And it was just like this rough, rocky day. I ended up having a lot of anger under the umbrella of anger. Emotional states arising. And so with that, you have to be really, I wouldn't say delicate, but wise. You have to be really wise about that. So I stated the person I share a living space with noticed, and so I had to say, without abandoning that aspect of self, I had to say what was going on, and then I took a walk on the beach in the wind with music in my ears, and I just gave it voice. I let it flow. Hopefully as little damage as I could. Anger in itself is a damaging emotion to the energy system, and so be it, but it has to have flow. It's even more damaging if it's suppressed. So I allowed that as best I could. I came back, and some of the issues that triggered it were still in existence, and they were connectivity, um, technology, tech connectivity issues, which, the last days of Mercury retrograde with the Venus, Libra, Saturn, Mars dances going on, that's going to come up. And so I dealt with it as best I could, and then tried to keep expressing, but it was kind of whatever it was, a little stuck. And then ended my day with a meditation and decided to sit with some audio in the background, which I often do as I sleep through this period. And I call in a lot of help as I sleep. But what it was releasing the darkness and um, um, releasing attachments. And can I tell you, it helped. I woke up in a much better space than I have in a while. And so that, and a little meaning that I woke up with a little more bounce and resilience with what is happening on all levels. Great, Alyssa. Yeah, interesting. We're connected, sweetheart. Right, baby? Right. So today's sit, what I decided to do was a big chunk, a little bit more intense energy work for myself before I launched into my sit. And it's interesting when I do intense energy work for myself, if I have sessions coming up booked in the future, those might leak in a little bit, and one did, and so I'm glad for that, and did side notes for that because I don't want to ignore it, but kept with myself. Because those who show up for sessions with me, there's some kind of resonance, and so it necessitates that I'm continually being with what's happening with me. So I did that, and then I launched into my sit. So as I've been reporting, per usual, there's a lot happening in the see in here in mental body. Was there a little bit more pleasantness and bounce? Yeah, but there is not but, and there is still this frenetic, almost harsh quality to that state. If you're looking at the progress of insight, that's no at a certain stage, if you're moving through the progress of insight, that's notable. That's a part of that stage of the flow. And so I'm in that flow right now. So good to know. Still leaning into peace, still leaning into connecting to the breath, which is connected to the body. Breath is the body. Hey, Melissa. And so that's what I'm leaning into, looking for opportunities for stream entry, for jhana, for peace. Those may be lingos and vocabularies you don't understand. I'll unpack them at some later date if there's a request. So that's what I was leaning into today. And what I found was, because even though there was a quality of frenetic harshness within the mental body, I could still lean in. I could still find those moments. And sometimes those moments of concentration within the breath, peacefulness, were large today. So I kept leaning into that. Kindness was more available. Peace and ease was more available. With, not and, but with. So it's not that, and this may be a note for all of us in our lives as you continue, it's not that the frenetic harshness goes away. It's that and. You expand, you become greater, you can, the equanimity rises, different aspects of selfing. And let me talk about selfing. That arose towards the end. And it's not as if energy work, because I was doing some of that practice before I launched into my formal hour-long sit today. It's not that as if that disappeared. That was also there. It was that and. That and. That's what I noticed. That and. So, oh my gosh, I just realized something, that a technical thing that I have to deal with at some point in the future in terms of including music. Okay, let me take a sip of water and get back here. So there were, so with the and, my intention is, I guess you could call it my goal, is to have a higher percentage of my awareness resting upon the inhale and the peace and coolness that comes with the inhaling breath. So I have techniques to do that. It was on for the entire 60 plus minutes of practice this morning. It was on the breath. Was it always a high percentage? No. Was it there? Yes. So yay team is how I see that. There were moments, I don't know how long, how many moments those were, but there were big chunks of what I could perceive of in time where it was a high percentage. There were a few small moments of high 90, maybe 100% with that peaceful breath. I would like more and more of that because for access concentration, it's a high percentage over a long stretch of time. So I'm not quite at access concentration yet, just moments, which means stability within a bliss state, not quite available yet. Just, I think it's called Kanika Samadhi, small tastes of bliss peppered throughout for sure. And the freneticness. And at different points, I called upon the guides of energy work that I am working with these days for myself, because as I was able to move into those states of peace, things began to shift in my emotional body, my mental body, and my energy bodies, and my physical body. And so I called upon guides to help me shift during my sits. Those were smaller moments. And I had the freedom for that. I had the freedom for that, to allow that to be okay, to keep falling back into an equanimous, peaceful okayness no matter what arose. So that was stronger. That's key. Not a great time to be able to really beef up that aspect of self when there's a lot of chaos. So once things really begin to calm down, hopefully I'll be a rock star with the equanimity. What? I hope that's true. We'll see. It's where I'm at in my progress of insight these days. Uh, so what I found interesting as I ended my sit, the last 15, give or take, 15 minutes of my formal sit, I like to move into a heart practice very consciously rather than simply observing awareness, concentration, surrender, allow a little bit of cultivating and allowing the release within. The metta is more of a nurturance, a cultivating, a building up of divine love and light, peacefulness, loving kindness. How I approach that is statements, affirmations of divine light in my emotional body, my mental body, my physical body. And the same with loving kindness, love, care, peacefulness, peace within all these bodies. And I go through a certain protocol with that and really kind of puff up and beef up the different states and stages of being within that. There's a lot of access to that this go around, and so there's a kind of healing. What I added onto it was my energy bodies, or energy bodies, Christine's, this incarnation's energy bodies. And so what I notice is that in terms of the bodies, I need to, if you're looking at bodies, that would be your pranamaya kosha. If you're a yogi, looking at my energy body and nurturing that, beefing that up with divine light, divine love, loving kindness, and peace, peacefulness. So that's how I ended my sit with a 15-minute chunk of infusion, nurturance, cultivation of states. Really important. Good work if you can get it. And so that's what was there at the end of practice. I'm going through a lot of shifts these days, and so that will be reflected. Whatever's happening in your muggle life, in your householder life, whatever you're doing, hey Lisa, whatever you're doing out in the world with your home, with your family, friends, connections, with your livelihood, if you're doing that within your energy work practice, in your offerings, whatever you're doing, For me, it's cooking, baking, my hobbies, cookie baking, the garden, another spiritual offering within my painting practice. All aspects will be reflected in all aspects. And so I'm interested now in coming off of the cushion and off of this accountability report and back into my life. What's going to stick? What will be there? With my peacefulness cultivation, with my loving kindness, divine light cultivation, and all my intentions for practice. And vice versa, it will inform what you sit with once you come plop yourself down on your cushion for your more formal practice. What will be there for you? It's likely whatever's arising in your life will be with you. You're one thing. You're the all things. And so it flows, it weaves back and forth. So that's what I found today. My intention is to lean into this greater ease and peace. And you can, hi, Tina. Good to see you. It's been a while. I can lean into these things. I will need to flow back and revisit these day after day after day. So, are there any nuggets? Perhaps everything I've shared in this deeply personal practice of what's happening for me will lead into some kind of inspiration for you. It's possible. Some days will be hectic and you do it anyway. That's the practice, that's the discipline. If you want something different, do something different. What I'm doing is this accountability practice in an hour of formal sit plus whatever else I do every day for 108 days because I want change. I want something to shift. And it's showing me all these other areas in which I can shift. All right, I got to go, people. Thank you for joining me. Rewind and see from the beginning and see if there's something else there for you to reflect upon. Maybe you'll take up for yourself some kind of committed practice for 100 days. I chose 108 because it's a sacred number for me. There'll be a lot more things coming up in the future that I can offer. Right now, I'm revamping this rock star self, and we'll see what gets put out there. I'm more heavily into ecstatic dance and music and DJing and painting and sitting practice. Yeah, I still have my energy work clients, which you can find, on my website, and those things still arise. And what I've noticed is that they're fewer and far between. So I'm really curious what next week's energy session practices will be. It's really interesting these days, really interesting people. All right. I love you all. As an aspect of myself, keep moving. We're a team here. If you've come upon this because there's something in you wanting to change, shift into, oh, I know what I didn't mention. I have to go, so I'll mention it tomorrow. One of the things I'm releasing is the ingrained habit of being a warrior, of battling, of charging forward. Not helpful in my next incarnation as I move forward my next 20 years. Not helpful. It's not who I am anymore. And so those ingrained patterns are still releasing within me. We'll talk about that more tomorrow if it's necessary. Let me know. I don't know what time I'll show up tomorrow. It's Monday, so it will be sometime in the morning, 10 a.m., 11 a.m. East Coast time. We'll see. I don't know. That's flowing. We'll see what shows up. Hey, Claire. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you for the love. All right. I love you guys. Mwah. I'm going to play you a little bit of some happiness on the on the outro if I can. I know we're all doing this, people, and because we're all a tribe awakening, we're a tribe awakening. We got this. We got this. I can't do your stuff for you. I can, however, move more deeply into the beacon of life with my creative wings unfurled. You do you. We got this. Tribe, we got this. All right, I'll see you soon tomorrow in the AM East Coast time somehow. And look out for another meditation month long. And there's going to be another ecstatic dance. If you join me for that ecstatic dance, thanks for that um, train wreck of a session. It was super fun. Um, it'll get better with the tech as we move forward. All right. So much love to you guys. Peace.